This is the government news brief for Tuesday, November 17, 2015. In the news, mining officers to be given more authority to help regulate the sector, no more payment for shoddy work in Region 6, and a new cottage hospital to be constructed in Region 1. These stories and more in this edition of the government news brief. Efforts are being made to ensure that mining activities are less damaging to the environment. Minister of Governance Raphael Trotman, who has oversight for the natural resources sector, told GINA that the government is firmly committed to regulating this subsector.
The government some time ago voiced its dissatisfaction with the way mining is currently done in Guyana. According to Minister of Governance Raphael Trotman, the government is reviewing the role of mining and environmental officers to make them more effective. The intention is to enable the officers to enforce regulations governing the sector.
The first point would be the mining officers who are on the ground in a particular mining district. All kinds of good and bad reports come out. We want to make sure that mining officers are given the respect that they deserve, that they are allowed to function within the meaning of the Act to enforce the laws, and carry themselves with respect. In terms of environmental protection, we are currently reviewing the laws to make enforcement of the environmental issues possible. As it is now, environmental officers lack certain powers to actually enforce the law, so we are actually reviewing the laws to give them stronger powers.
Bad mining practices not only damage the environment but can impact negatively on persons' health. According to Trotman, the government has adopted an interagency approach to address the issue.
We speak about a green economy, and therefore we've got to see the environment as a friend, as the provider of our livelihood. So by destroying it, by disrespecting it, by degrading it, we're not helping ourselves. So we'd like to see mining and foresting that is sustainable and respectful of the environment.
The Guyana Geology and Mines Commission oversees the mining industry in Guyana and over the years has implemented modern mining practices and codes of operation. Currently, the Department of Natural Resources is working with the Ministry of Indigenous Peoples Affairs, the Environmental Protection Agency, and the Ministry of Communities, among others, to ensure that there is a cohesive approach in regulating the mining sector. Shanta Goberdan with its government news brief.
Residents of Region 6 can be assured they are getting value for their money as contractors are not only being paid at the completion of projects, but also after satisfactory inspection and clearance by the regional administration. This is being done in an effort to stamp out corruption. More in the Seneca Thorne report.
The Capital Works project schedule of the Regional Democratic Council Region 6 is currently moving ahead smoothly under the guidance of the recently appointed Regional Executive Officer, Dr. Veersamy Romayo. Projects are currently ongoing in villages from New Amsterdam to Molson Creek.
The capital project for this year, we have for all the civil works, 100% have been awarded. Works are, as you saw today, some of the works ongoing. And while the work is ongoing, we are responsible for preparation of payments, interim payments. And however, we cannot expend money unless we know that we get the quality of work done and before we issue payments.
The ultimate goal of the developmental works is to transform the region in every possible way and enhance the lives of its people. Currently, the overall completion rate of the project stands at 40%. This is expected to reach 60% in the coming week.
Close to $190 million, leaving out the medical equipment and the two ambulances and the car and the motorcycle. Those are the things remaining to get into the budget. We still got 6-7 weeks actually to complete these things, but it will finish, providing that we get the weather as we do now. The work will finish.
The region's 2016 budget will focus on drainage and irrigation in the region, as this was identified as critical to the further advancement of the agriculture sector. Continuous roads and community enhancement projects will also be done.
Residents of Baramita in Region 1 are to benefit from improved health facilities and services, as we hear in this Seneca Thorne report.
The government intends to construct a cottage hospital at Baramita. This will replace the current health center. It has been noted that there is an increase in population at Baramita, and this is putting a strain on the services offered at the health center. The new cottage hospital will serve the village of Baramita and 20 satellite communities.
Hospital is broken. Okay, there's hardly any water there. There's no. They're trying to make do with like an inpatient facility, you know, but we need to just break that hospital down and construct a new hospital. They need all the services. They need all the services. Obviously, you might not be able to do a C-section or you know, or let me say major surgery that would require anesthesia and so on. But at least you can do a delivery. You know, you need a aborting bed. You need instruments, forceps and so on, that you can actually stitch wounds and so on. You need a blood pressure apparatus working and lighting facilities and so on. And most of all, you need beds in the hospital so that the persons who come from miles away would be able to rest until they feel better to go back.
Public Health Minister Dr. George Norton and team recently visited Baramita and handed over 2 ATVs to the community. The vehicles will be used to conduct medical outreaches in the community and surrounding areas. The Ministry of Health will also facilitate training of community health workers, medics, and midwives.
We're trying, however, in our area to train the health workers, to train the medics, to train the midwives, and to have a core group there. They were donated 2 ATVs. These are the all-terrain vehicles, which is the only means of transportation that can go into the forest area of that place. And we hope that at least we'd be able to reach out to them. We want to know what we're doing, so we heard from the villagers themselves. We consulted with them, and they have a medics there who deserves a national award of no mean order. She's dedicated. She has adopted 6 children. Okay, and the men folks are saying that medics is the best person to be the custodian of the keys for those vehicles. One, the police will have access to, but they'll have to return it to the medics. And the other one would be for the health sector.
The government also intends to build a mortuary at Baramita. Allocation for this was included in the 2016 regional budget.
The Guyana Water Incorporated is exploring new technologies to provide safe, clear water to consumers. Shanaza Lowe reports.
GWI was allocated $2.9 billion in the 2015 national budget. Part of that money is being used to ensure that clear and safe water is supplied to customers. According to the company's chief executive officer, Dr. Van West Charles, part of the budgetary allocation is being used to test ways to minimize the amount of iron in the water.
Rolling out in 2016, there are going to be a number of wells across the coast, and before, as we come to the end of 2015, you've got about 3 new wells for the coast, and we will continue to look at where populations are and try to ensure that, and these are all groundwater wells, are serviced.
GWI hopes to trap the iron present in the water, which will be done by adding chlorine into the water treatment system. This will also play a significant part in producing a better quality of water.
Before the end of this year, we are conducting some research with a new chemical, which would more or less, we hope, and based on results in other countries, trap the iron. And so we should see, and we expect, a better quality of water.
Construction of wells will begin specifically in targeted areas such as Cotton Tree, Hope, and Good Fortune. At Wakenham and Port Morant, drilling for new wells will start this year. Based on a mid-year financial report for 2015, $418 million was expended by the water sector. The allocation allowed for work to be done at the Riswork on Linear Reservoir and treatment facilities.
Guyana is to step up cooperation with several Arab nations following the recent Arab-South American Summit. More in this Shanta Gobadan report.
During the 4th Summit of South American and Arab Nations, Guyana was able to engage in discussions to advance cooperation at the bilateral level. This is according to Guyana's Minister of Foreign Affairs, Carl Greenidge, who was part of the Guyana delegation. He spoke with the Government Information Agency. According to Greenidge, the engagements at the summit were critical to Guyana as a means of exploring the prospects and promise of collaboration with countries such as Saudi Arabia, the United Arab Emirates, and Croatia.
Discussions on those fronts were, again, quite satisfactory. Satisfactory in the sense that the meetings dealt with cooperation projects that we'd started on, and those where we had outstanding problems between the two sides that needed addressing, and they addressed issues over which we can cooperate in the future. And we agreed to have meetings specifically by way of a follow-up in order to identify those areas where we could deepen our cooperation.
Saudi Arabia, the United Arab Emirates, and Croatia are among the world's dominant oil and gas producers and exporters. These nations have been able to steer revenues from oil into developing vibrant economies. While there was no discussion specifically on Guyana's looming oil industry, Greenidge indicated that there were deliberations on broad parameters for cooperation.
The agreement would have been to ensure that the Joint Commission sits and now revisits these areas with a new mandate, given that on our side there is a new government in place.
Guyana was represented at the 4th Summit of the South American and Arab countries by President David Granger, Minister of Foreign Affairs Carl Greenidge, and Director General of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Ambassador Audrey Waddell. Held every 3 years, this summit gathers the 22 member states of the Arab League and 12 countries of South America to promote mutually beneficial relations.
That has brought us to the end of the government news brief for Tuesday, November 17, 2015. I am Azim Khan, reminding you that all our programs can be viewed on our website. You can also find us on Facebook and YouTube.